Marcos Eduardo Castro goes by the famous name of Markitos. He is a famous YouTuber from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, whose lifestyle of luxury and somewhat benefits above the law in some of his videos were controversial within itself, but ultimately his persona and image that he was putting up on the internet would catch up to him and lead him to become another victim of criminal organizations in Mexico. Whether he deserved this treatment or not is up to you to decide. When Markito Toys first came to YouTube, it seemed like he was destined for greatness, and looked like he already came from greatness if we were being honest. From his very first video back in 2019, he was driving a sports car with a friend and just talking to the camera about plans for the YouTube channel. And in just a couple more videos, he was already showing off flashy cars, horses, and expensive stuff in general. How he managed to have this budget for all of these YouTube videos is very unclear. After making videos, he managed to create a group called Los Toys. With this group, he will record funny vlogs. And with this group of friends, he started to gain fame, and big time fame. In his videos, they went very next level. In his videos, he went from recording just in the streets and joking with his friends to going off-roading with racers and four-wheelers. His appearance also changed. He started wearing more luxurious brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, and Christian Louboutin. He would also do videos where he would travel constantly and sometimes give money to people away on the spot, and his fame started to reach next levels. Markito Toys and his group of friends, Los Toys, would show off this lifestyle and do stuff at the time that was above the law with no repercussions. I remember in some of the videos that they would have, they would go at high speeds and even do burnouts in the city of Culiacan. That is a city heavily controlled by the Sinaloa Cartel. And if any other person, like you or me, was to do this, we would face very heavy problems. However, they would not face any problems. And that was very suspicious to me. Another thing that I noticed about him and his group of friends, that they would sometimes shout out Los Chapos faction of the Sinaloa Cartel by saying Pura Chapiza, and they would say it in a joking manner. However, we know this is not no joking matter. And all of this is alleged. Again, don't come at me, alright? Don't come at me. With all the fame Markito Toys was gaining, he started to profit from it. He started a hat business where the hats he would sell would go by the price of $80 to $150 each. He would also sell merch. He also helped his father open up a restaurant in 2023 and helped other family members open up some sushi spots. He would go on expensive trips to Europe, and he even managed to buy a Lamborghini Urus, and it seemed like Markito Toys was at the top both financially and mentally. He was a happy man with man, and it seemed like he had protection in Mexico and had no problems at all. However, everything started to change for him. The same year, he helped his dad open up the restaurant in 2023. That year, towards the end, there was rumors going around that he had relations with a Nini, a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa Cartel of the Chapitos faction. In those years, 2021 to 2024, those was the year the Sinaloa Cartel started to face problems within itself. They started to have a civil war, and this left him in a vulnerable spot. And with those rumors coming out, it definitely put him in a very bad position with one side. In 2024, it was looking to be a good year for Markitos Toys. He had gone almost a full year without being targeted, yet by either side of the Sinaloa cartel, when they were looking to reach peaks of their conflict of the civil war they were facing. And he would even encourage people to come to Culiacan in his videos. However, in November 28, 2024, he became a target of the Sinaloa cartel by the Markitos faction. The sushi restaurants that he helped his family open were targeted and burned. This was the start of a number of attacks that Markitos Toys and his family would suffer. In December, just a month after the attack that happened to the sushi restaurants, they attacked his dad's restaurant and burned it as well. After that attack, Markito Toys decided to leave the country with some members of his family in fear of his life and the ones that he loved. However, the attacks did not stop there. In January 8th, 2025, the houses of his parents was attacked. They shot it up. They went inside the house forcefully after taking the main door with heavy cars. They went inside. They also took the security that was paid to protect the house. He was a regular security guy that was not armed, who was kidnapped and was later thrown in a random street by these people that were trying to kill Markitos Toys maybe. And the very next day, January 9th, some airplane in Culiacan threw some papers with a list calling out some influencers for being money launderers for the CJNG. In that list, Markito Toys was in it. These papers were thrown out by the Markito faction, and they also had to say that those influencers were part of the CJNG, because they cannot say that they're part of the Sinaloa cartel, because at the end of the day, the Markitos faction are part of the Sinaloa cartel, and they'll bring heat for themselves. And there is also no way that they would let any influencer who is financed or finances the CJNG live in Sinaloa without any problems for such a long time. Because Sinaloa, by the name says it, they're controlled by the Sinaloa cartel. In March of 2025, Markito Toys suffered what I would say would be his biggest attack and most hurtful attack, and that was when they killed his brother, Gael Castro, in Baja California. Baja California is a whole different state, hours away from Sinaloa. This was proof that they were not safe. And from there on, Markito Toys has been threatened by the Markitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel, and is continued to be targeted. Some people allege that Markito Toys was financed from the Chapitos and was doing money laundering for them, and would not share the money with the Markitos, therefore making the Markitos mad at him, and now targeting him to this extreme level. As of now, Markito Toys lives in fear and lives out of the country. He stays somewhere in Europe wasting his YouTube money, or whatever type of money he got. At the end of the day, it seems like Markito Toys won at the end, because just yesterday he uploaded a video that just today has 500,000 views. He is a guy with high demand. As long as his money doesn't run out and doesn't go back to Mexico, and I will recommend him to not go back to Mexico, he will be safe. Because in Mexico, any criminal organization will go after you. Sadly, that's the state of the country.